Hey there, we have a surge milker head, and we're having some trouble keeping it running. One of these sides will pull over, and then it'll just lock up, kind of. And we tried oiling it, and I cleaned up all the visible stuff that was interfering with it here on the top. But we decided that we're going to have to take it apart and clean it a little bit more in depth, so I thought I'd just kind of show you how you can do that. If it's not running very well, then it probably means that it's all plugged up with old grease, or if you get water in it, that causes huge problems. So I'm going to pull this apart. To start off with, you just take off these two screws here and these two screws here. So I've removed those two screws. When you're pulling this apart, you want to be very intentional about putting everything where you'll remember exactly which side it came from. So as you can see, these plungers, these two plungers right here, go back and forth inside this cup. So this is the cup for the right side and the two screws. So now I'm going to flip it around this way, and we're going to remove those two screws. There's the other side removed, and as you can see, when you have both sides removed, these just drop right off. So you got to pay attention, because these two pieces in here are different. So the one with the hole in it stays toward the cover. Whoops. Greasy. So these two plungers, I think these are identical. These both have a hole cut in the top, and thus they're interchangeable. Wow, looks like this one's gotten some rust on it. So that's no good. That's going to have to get cleaned up. Got that one, and then you can see underneath this one. Whoa, would you look at that? I'm guessing that's our problem. There was literally a chunk of wood sitting right there. So that's what's been preventing it from going back and forth. But since we haven't pulled apart this far, I think we're going to go ahead and finish cleaning it. Whoops, not a piece of wood stuck in there. That's okay, it'll blow out. So anyway, this one right here has two chambers in it, and this is the one that goes toward the front, versus this one, which has a hole in the top, and I think it has like a smile-shaped chamber. Yeah, it does, on either side. So this one goes more toward the cover, so we just remember exactly where we took stuff from, and we won't have any trouble getting it going again. I'm going to go ahead and lie these as they need to go in. Now you can see that on this side there was a what do you call this? Oh, a gasket. I can't remember what it's called. A gasket, and I'm not sure. Yep, there's one on the other side too. Just gonna gently remove those. Set them next to their appropriate sides. I think I'm also going to pull this hose off. Go. Now I don't have to deal with that hose. So this is what we're left with at this point. Basically a big block that we can't disassemble further without destroying the whole unit. But all these different holes, all these different orifices, I just take an air hose and blow them out like crazy. As you can see, there's water. Maybe you can't really see it, but it's glinting back. There's some water inside that one. The whole thing's just dirty. So we're going to go get the air hose and blow this thing out. So I have the air hose, just using one of those small adjustable chucks. So go ahead and put that in. There's nothing to see over there. Sorry, the camera is not on a very good perch. Anyway, turn on the There's that little chunk of wood. Just continue to blow everything out. Alright, I think that looks good. I blew out all these little holes, every single individual one, and quite a bit of junk actually came out. So I think we'll go and throw this thing back together and see how she runs. But before we throw it all back together, I'm going to clean off each one of these individual pieces. And it's pretty common sense, just wipe off all the old grease and get it cleaned up. This one right here, I might take a wire brush and just gently clean off the rust that's accumulated on it. And that should be good. I'm not going to bother with videoing that because I'm pretty sure you understand what's going on with that. So all these components are now cleaned up. And these are cleaned. I think that these washer things, these rubber deals, are actually made out of leather, which is kind of interesting because it's a pretty old unit. So going back to the block, all nice and clean, everything's wiped off. Hey, nope, not yet. Sorry, that was my father wondering if I'd eaten breakfast. Anyway, what I was saying was just be careful to put everything back the way it's supposed to be. This piece right here, the small trough goes over the little holes, and the big one goes over the big holes, so it goes like that. We got this one in its correct orientation. So get them all put back in there. There's the gaskets back in place. I think those are actually reversible. But I'm just going to throw it all together and we'll go see if it works. Also, it's not a bad idea to take just a little bit of grease and run it on the edges of these. Just a little bit though, because too much can also plug it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got it all put back on the milker and I'm ready to test it out, so let's see how it does. There it is running right away, so that's good. Now this little knob right here controls the different speeds, so if you screw this in to the right, which is clockwise, then it slows it down, and if you screw it out, then it speeds it up, as you can see. So I usually get it going kind of fast, and then I take a little bit of oil, because I haven't actually oiled the other parts. The whole thing overall is pretty oiled already, but I just add oil afterwards. Around that joint. Oil in general is good to have on it, just as long as it doesn't get gummy. And that should be about all that is necessary. Close the dust cover and should be good to go. Let's move this down to a reasonable speed. Right about there is where you want it for milking, maybe a little slower. But looks good to me. So I think I'm gonna go get some breakfast now, but that is some simple maintenance on the Surge pulsator.